So, let's talk about something that defines every single one of us, from the second we're born to our very last breath: mortality. Today, we're going to unpack what it really means to be mortal, and you know what? The answer might just surprise you. You've probably heard this phrase before: remember that you are dust, and to dust you shall return. It's this incredibly powerful line spoken to millions of people on Ash Wednesday, as a cross of ashes is literally traced on their foreheads. It's an ancient, super somber reminder from the book of Genesis. But what if it's more than just a line from a church service? I mean, have you ever stopped to wonder what it's truly all about? Sure, it's a physical sign meant to spark some kind of internal change. But if you look past the specifics of the ritual, it taps into this massive question that hits all of us. How do you live knowing that your time here is finite? So why ashes? Well, this whole tradition goes way, way back to the Old Testament, where ashes were a common sign of repentance, of humility. In this context, the ashes kick off the season of Lent, a time for reflection, and they connect a personal change of heart to a much, much bigger story of death and resurrection. But this idea of being dust, it goes so much deeper than just one day or one tradition. It actually forces us to totally redefine what mortality itself is. See, we tend to think of it as something that happens at the very end of our lives, right? But that's not the whole picture at all. And this is a really crucial point. Scholars define mortality not as the event of dying, but as the fundamental condition of being alive. It isn't an endpoint. It's a quality that shapes our entire experience, from our first breath to our last. It is, in a very real way, what makes us human. The poet W.B. Yeats, man, he just nailed this human dimension perfectly. Unlike other animals, we live with the knowledge of our own end, and that awareness creates this unique tension, this life lived between dread and hope, that gives everything we do a different kind of meaning. So this brings us to a huge, centuries-old debate inside of Christian thought. Was our finite nature, our mortality, part of God's original good design, or was it some kind of cosmic punishment, like a glitch in the system? All right, let's break this down. On one side, you've got intrinsicism. This is the minority view, and it says mortality is a feature, not a bug. It's a fundamental part of God's very good creation that defines our healthy limits. But then, on the other side, you've got extrinsicism, the major tradition, which sees mortality as a bug, an unnatural punishment that was slapped on humanity after the fall, a detour from God's original immortal plan. Okay, I know this might sound like some super abstract theological argument, but the answer to this feature or bug question, it has massive real-world implications. It fundamentally changes the entire purpose of our lives. Think about it. If mortality is a feature, part of the good design, well then this finite life becomes the main event, the place to find meaning. We're meant to cherish what some call mortal goods. Things like family, love, work, even grief and trust. But if mortality is a bug, then this life is more like a temporary test, a brief and kind of difficult prelude to our real eternal existence. The focus shifts completely. And this deep-seated need to find meaning in our limited time, it isn't just a religious thing, not at all. We actually see it everywhere in our secular society too. It turns out this is a universal human thing. Whether we think about it consciously or not, we all create rituals to give shape and meaning to our finite time on this planet. Just think about our federal holidays. We might just see them as a day off work, right? But there are secular, collective rituals. From Memorial Day, where we remember our dead, to Independence Day, where we celebrate our founding, they are how we as a society mark the passage of time and create shared meaning for our lives, all within the bounds of our mortality. But today, there's this new idea that's really taken root, and it challenges this entire framework of accepting our limits. What if mortality isn't something to find meaning in, but is just a technical problem that needs to be solved? And this brings us to the modern movement of transhumanism. At its core, it's this vision that sees the human body and mind as systems that can be fixed, improved, and radically re-engineered. And the ultimate goal? It's crystal clear: to use technology to overcome the limitations of the human condition, including aging, suffering, and yes, even death itself. It's a direct quest for immortality, not in some spiritual afterlife, but right here, right now. This whole modern quest to fix death is in such stark contrast to thousands of years of classical and religious thought.
which, wasn't about escaping our limits, but about finding the most profound meaning and purpose within them.
And that really leaves us with the central question, doesn't it? Is our finite nature a flaw in our design that we should be trying to eliminate with technology, or is it the very thing, that built-in deadline, that makes our choices matter, our relationships precious, and our lives meaningful in the first place?